Hey everybody, welcome back to the Race 5 Smokehouse and Grill. And today we are making some Nashville Hot Party spare ribs on the Weber Kettle. Let's go! We're gonna jump right into the spare ribs and make some Nashville Hot Party ribs. Now, if you're not aware what Nashville Hot is, that is a style of cooking some chicken down in Nashville, Tennessee, where they fry some chicken. It's nice and spicy in the breading, but then afterwards what they do is they take some of that oil that was fried in, season that oil up, and dress their chicken with that as well. Gives it this nice, rich, spicy bite on a sandwich. We're gonna do that, but we're gonna do that with ribs today on the Weber Kettle. So let's get these ribs opened up. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. We have this beautiful slab of spare ribs, trimmed nice St. Louis style. So the rib tips are already taken off, but you can see we got some real fatty sections here. We're not gonna eat those, so we are gonna trim these off. Start here. Yeah, this is mostly fat, so we're gonna take this off as well. And we are trying to make these look a little pretty, so we're gonna try to keep them as nice and square as we can. So we are gonna square this up a little bit as well. Now I am feeling some cartilage and bones across here, so they didn't quite get all the way down with that. And since we are gonna be splitting these up into individual bones, so I wanna get this cleaned up so as we slice these up to season them, we're not fighting any cartilage or any other bones. So you're gonna be able to feel that across the top here, kind of where that edge is. And just cut that out and square it up. Now we have a really nice trimmed up St. Louis cut of spare ribs. Now typically I take this flap off and the membrane, but since we are going to be cooking these pretty hot and fast, I'm gonna leave that membrane on, but I am gonna take this flap off. There we have it. It's as trimmed up as it's gonna be. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut these into individual ribs so we can season all sides of it. So you're gonna find right in the middle of the bone here and just separate it. And do the same across the whole rib. Now it doesn't have to be perfect when you're doing these. You are looking for meat on both sides, but if you have more meat on one side or the other, it's okay. You'll figure it out when you're eating it. There we have it. We have our spare ribs separated into individual pieces. Now all we're gonna do is season all of these guys up, and we're gonna season all around it. Today we're using Pork Mafia's Nashville Heat seasoning. Gives a great Nashville Heat flavor, got some good spice, some great salty flavors. You're gonna love it. You can absolutely make your own, which really comprises of salt, cayenne pepper, paprika, some other spices, and you can find recipes everywhere for this, but I know this is awesome and I've used it before, so I'm gonna keep using it. So we're gonna season all sides of these ribs. Give it a good mix up here with the stuff that's left over on the board. Anything we've missed, go back and touch it up. And that's what we're gonna be throwing onto the grill here, guys. Now that we have the ribs rubbed up, I'm gonna tell you about how we have the grill set up. We're using the Weber Kettle and we're using the Vortex. Now the Vortex is a cone that keeps all the charcoal in place, but it gives a great distribution of heat throughout the grill. These ribs are gonna be cooked hot and fast. We're gonna start with that Vortex halfway filled with Jealous Devil lump charcoal. Then we're gonna start a small chimney of charcoals and light that up. Once that gets a nice red flame coming through the bottom, we're gonna go ahead and dump that on the unlit coals. Then we're gonna put the grate back on top, let that heat up, and then we're gonna get these ribs on. Let's go over to the grill, check it out. Make sure it's ready to get these ribs on. The grill's running great, coals are nice and hot, the grill grate's nice and hot. Let's get these ribs on. And in order to get some nice smoky flavor, I'm going to throw a hunk of cherry right on the middle there. And then we got our ribs. I did 2 slabs today because I've got enough room, might as well. Don't recommend reaching over the Vortex. I've learned that the hard way. Let's close this up. Vent is all the way open, bottom vent's all the way open. Every 15 minutes, we're gonna rotate this 1/4 turn. And the reason we're gonna rotate it 1/4 turn is because where that vent is where the heat comes out of there. So it's gonna be a hot spot underneath it. And since this is running so hot, we wanna make sure that that heat is evenly distributed. So every 15 minutes, we're gonna turn it 1/4 rotation. And at that same time, I'm going to make a baste for it. So we'll hit it with a brush and the baste, and let's show you what that baste is. Wings are on. Now it's time to make our baste. It's a pretty complex sauce that we're gonna baste with, so bear with me. Just kidding, it's 2 ingredients. We're using whipped butter, which my friend Chris Lubansky told me about. Whipped butter and a seasoning. That's it. And that's really a takeoff of the Nashville hot sauce that they use down in Nashville. When they're done frying their chicken, they'll pull it out, they'll take a little bit of that oil, mix it with all their dry seasonings, and they pour it over the chicken while they're making their sandwich. And that gives it so much more richness and flavor. So all we're using, whipped butter, Nashville Heat seasoning. Let this melt down first. We have this butter melted down, so now it's time to add some of our Nashville Heat seasoning. Now this is up to you. How hot do you want it? Again, completely up to you. I like to go a little spicier on these, so we're gonna hit it pretty good here. And mix that all in there. I'm gonna turn this down to a low heat now just to keep it warm and to keep it melted. This is smelling great already. This is done. It's been about 15 minutes since we put the wings on. Let's go do our first basting. It's been 15 minutes. We've got our basting butter ready. Let's go open this kettle up, baste them down, rotate that lid about 1/4 of the way, shut it down for another 15 minutes. Let's go. Close it up. Rotate about 1/4 of the way, and then we're gonna let it go another 15 minutes. Baste, rotate, 15 minutes, baste, rotate. It's gonna take only about an hour to cook, and we'll be back. And at right about an hour on these ribs. Let's go take a look, start temping them, and see if they're ready to pull off. Again, we're probing, we're gonna feel for tenderness, but we're also gonna be looking at that temp range where we're looking between 195 to 205. Make sure they're nice and tender. Let's go take a look. 97, 98, 182. Ribs are looking really good right now. They're temping anywhere between like 185 to 195. So we're close. I'm gonna let it go another 15 minutes or so, and then we're gonna pull them off and let them rest for about 15 minutes wrapped in foil. When these are temping in the 195 range across the board, we're gonna pull them off. So we'll be back when it's time to try them. Ribs have been resting about 15 minutes. It's time to dig into these. They got up to about 203, 205 across the board, which is perfect. They should be nice and tender. Let's give them a shot. Look at these ribs. They look gorgeous. Kind of dark. They have the nice sheen from that butter sauce we made with the Nashville hot rub. Let's give one of these a try. Oh yeah. Delicious. Perfect bite. Got some heat to it, which is what we're looking for. Got a little bit of kick to it. That is good. Meat comes off the bone clean, perfectly cooked. Man, there's a nice heat building, great flavor. Another thing with those Nashville hot sandwiches, they'll have a ranch maybe accompanying it, a blue cheese. Get where I'm going with this? I have a nice blue cheese here. We're gonna give one a dip here. See how it tastes. Almost like eating hot wings. Nashville Heat hot wings, but ribs. My goodness. Listen, Nashville Hot Party Ribs. I'm telling you, bring these to a party instead of wings or some other nonsense. These will be killer. And they cook in about an hour. If you added a little more coal, they would have been done in an hour. These took an hour, 10 minutes. If you like what we did here, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, follow us on social media, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks again for checking out the video. Take care, everybody. Peace.